land of free. My dear brothers and sisters of southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, brave warriors for freedom and justice. Today is the 15th of August 2018, and it leaves us only a few weeks away from the topping of 2 full years of our relentless resistance to slavery and servitude. In only a few weeks, we shall commemorate that moment when our brave lawyers and teachers rose to the occasion like Rosa Parks and said, enough is enough. Yes, that moment when Mancho Bibixi showed us all that there is only a thin line that separates a slave from a corpse. For 57 years and counting, we have all been dead people who prevailed in the misconception that we were alive. Today, our eyes are wide open, and we can all see that Mr. Paul Biya and his soldiers are carefully moving the slaves into the coffins in good numbers daily, with no signs he intends to stop, at least not anytime soon. When Agbobala, Wilfred Tassang, Fontaine-Ba Afoteka, and others who led the consortium initiated and campaigned to guarantee the success of the first most visible sign of our resistance, our discontents, the ghost towns of the 9th of January 2017. Across all of southern Cameroons, they could not imagine the enormity of the battle they were launching. They could barely think of who or what they were standing against. That single selfless action sowed the seeds of collective and renewed desire to resist evil. It reawakened our thirst for freedom, social justice, transparency, and accountability in the management of the public good. Almost 2 years on, we are still resisting with the promise to resist all the way until all the towns and villages of southern Cameroon, from Misaje to Akwaya, Idenau to Furawa, Boya to Mbengui, are liberated. This at least is the substance of the sacred covenant signed between us and those who are giving their blood to secure a better southern Cameroons for future generations of Ambazonians. The state of our revolution today depicts a people battling evil but still in search of a common ground from which to prosecute their ardent desire for freedom. Yes, we are making a lot of progress. Yes, we are increasing the cost of occupation daily. Yes, we are internationalizing our struggle at lightning speed. Yes, our self-defense forces are getting tougher and more intelligent by the day. But we, as a people, can do better. We must indeed do better. The concern of each and every Southern Cameroonian today should not be to limit our challenges. We must strive and continue to challenge our limits and build a culture of general resistance to everything that takes away our focus from the general good. We must shun greed and an unbridled thirst for absolute power and vain glorification. Today, more than ever before, we are all yearning for unity of purpose and close-knit kind of collaboration among the leadership of our struggle. For doomsayers, this is a pipe dream. But for optimists like me, this ambition is clearly achievable. But do not expect it to be easy. We all agree that securing freedom, the kind of freedom we seek, will never be like a walk in the park. If that is the case, we should also agree and not bother to think that attaining that close collaboration is going to be one. But get there, we will. Yes, we must achieve it. The forces against unity of purpose and collaboration in our ranks are just as strong as the enemy we are facing. That is why to succeed, we must be ready to make the necessary sacrifices. Christian wisdom holds that you have to be your strongest when you are feeling at your weakest. Yes, victory is paid for in sweat, courage, and preparation. We don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenges and overcome them. My dear people, the time is now to look the enemy in the face and tell him or her what you know without fear or favor. This is why I'm agreeing with President Donald Trump that when somebody challenges you, fight back. Be brutal. Be tough. Dear Southern Cameroonians and Bazonians, We shall prevail in this revolution, but our most important victory must be against greed, excessive thirst for power, falsehood, and manipulation. At this juncture, we can only agree with Martin Luther King Jr. that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. To secure the unity of purpose, unconditional collaboration and focus we need requires that we stop looking back at the days of mudslinging, backstabbing, blackmail, and disunity. Fellow Southern Cameroonians and Bazonians, we are not going that way. Let us look ahead. Desire unity and collaboration. That is where our future is. That is again why Martin Luther King Jr. says we must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the capacity to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. The Southern Cameroons a lot of us set out to fight for is a country in which we shall hear our leaders choose to say we as against I. We have been governed by I for 57 years and counting. And the result has been glorification of the personal over the collective good. The result has been the personalization of our collective future and well-being into a man-made deity. The collapse of the feeling of belonging and national pride that ought to translate into an effortless contribution by all to the growth of our society. The Southern Cameroons, most of us, are giving up our lives and pleasures for. It's a country where each time our leaders speak, they say we because they recognize that they owe us a duty of transparency and accountability in the discharge of the activities we, the people, assign to them, because they recognize that we need each and every one of us to get there. We are the eve of a major challenge, the challenge of unity of purpose, collaboration, and focus. The upcoming conference of leaders of the frontline movements is a moment of truth, a moment when virtue must defeat vice, a moment when I must hand over to we, a moment when fear, confusion, and despair must give room to a greater resolve to take total control of our struggle and destiny, a moment when we restore hope in the future and cause our people to look at tomorrow with renewed confidence. Let us forge ahead with vigor and courage and hold in mind, as Martin Luther King Jr. says once more, that human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step towards the goal of justice requires sacrifice and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. We must be ready to go all the way and do what we as a people must do. The march on Washington, D.C., come Sunday, the 19th of August 2018, will be a game changer in its own right. This march, dear people, represents hundreds of ballistic missiles we are going to launch against the enemy. We are aware the time for preparations is short, but also remember that disasters do not announce their coming. Even if this will be the last time you come out, do well to be there. Be a town crier for this event in your community. Make the participation of each and everyone around your personal challenge. Let everyone around you feel that if they do not participate in this match, they hurt you. We must regain total control of the game and dedicate the narrative again once and for all. This is the time to do it, and we cannot do it without you. Make sure you come out and stamp your name on the sand of time. The joint fundraiser being planned to end the march on Sunday will be our own public demonstration of strength. Let us do it and show the world that we are determined to live free or die. I am very convinced that we all remember what Honorable Joapolino said in Bamenda to Mr. Peter Mafani Musonge and his commission, that if only 3 Ambazonians will be left, they will live free. This is a collective challenge. Our enemies sat together in Yaoundé the other day. I mean the so-called elite from the northern zone. and contributed 156 million CFA francs to assist our enemy, Mr. Paul Biya, to destroy us, to kill us, to send our people into the forest. Must we be shy at this moment to do our own fundraising in public and show the world of what we are made of? The time is now for us to demonstrate to the whole wide world that we know that freedom has a cost. That freedom has a cost. That we know that to get there, we will have to sacrifice beyond the limits we initially imagined we were going to sacrifice. We have set a target to raise $250,000 on camera on that day. There are those who will have the chance to be seated in the hall where the fundraising is going on. And there are those who will only watch from their bedrooms, from their sitting rooms, and call by telephone. We are going to provide that number to announce how much you are sending in and begin to send it immediately. Because we will not stop the event on that day until we raise the full $250,000. And that money will be immediately deployed to ground zero so that we all see, we all show the enemy that we know what we are up against and that we as a people are ready to stand up to the challenge. God is with us.